I'm standing at the window that honors St. Vincent de Paul from early 17th century France. Vincent, as a young boy, grew up in a poor family, but in the course of his life, he came to serve as a priest. In the beginning, he knew he was bright, he knew he had a lot of talents, but he pursued priesthood with a certain sense of putting his own glory in too high a position in his life. He was too self-centered, he realized, after a while. And he came to see that what was really important was using all his talents, yes, but using them to do whatever God wanted him to do. What a shift that was for him, from being concerned about his own reputation and honor to being concerned about God's will for him so he could use his gifts for the good of others. And in a special way, he came to serve people who were very rich and very poor. He was the chaplain to men who worked in the docks in Paris. In working with the poor especially, Vincent de Paul came to see that in the poor, in those who might be unappealing to us, we can see in their faces the face of Christ. And he said, when we meet the poor, or when we meet people we're not naturally attracted to, for any reason, can we remember that in them we have our teachers and our masters? They not only show us the face of Christ, but they have a lot for us to learn about being loving, respectful, accepting people. Vincent de Paul also was very taken with the fact that people sometimes were Catholics, they were Christians, but they weren't on fire with their faith. And so he devised a system whereby he and a group of others would go into parishes and preach, you might say, Catholic revivals, telling them about how important God was. If he's really alive in your life, then you have to follow him closely. Change your life to make sure that he has such a high place in your life that you'll not live except for him and for him with great intensity. He founded the Congregation of the Mission, priests who could set others on fire for Christ. And they came to be known as the Vincentian community. In many parts of our world, even today, in seminaries that train men to be priests, the Vincentians are steadily working, especially to get those preparing for priesthood to think about, what's your relationship with Christ like? Can it be better as you seek to live your life as a future priest? He was also very important in helping Louise de Marillac, another great saint, to found the Daughters of Charity. And a lot of the sisters we would know who have charity in their order's title trace their roots back to Louise de Marillac and Vincent de Paul, always with a concern for the poor, always with a real respect for people. You might know Vincent de Paul from the St. Vincent de Paul Society. It was founded not by Vincent, but by Frederick Ozanam 200 years after Vincent lived. Frederick named the society, which is a society of prayer and a society of service to the poor, after Vincent de Paul, his hero. Vincent de Paul is somebody who's found Christ very much in prayer, and he found Christ in helping the poor. And he said, one can lead to the other. When we pray, we're led to serve the poor. When we serve the poor, we're led to pray. This window was given when Holy Name Lower Church was built as a gift from the altar boys. And they must have pulled their money, poor as they must have been in the 1930s or late 20s, to honor a saint who is the friend of the poor and a good friend of Christ.